Hey Barberton, this is Mayor William Judge with our weekly question and answer session. Quite a few questions to go over today. Sorry that I had missed last Friday, but I was out of the office at the time, so we're going to jump right into this. First question, any update on getting something back in the city to take place of the cherry blossom, which has gone away? So cherry blossom was run by the J.C.'s. And so that kind of went away. Cherry Blossom did. I actually have been working on a new festival, working with a lot of the businesses and the foundation and a lot of other groups to bring this new festival to town. I'd like to release more details, but we're still working on it. Hopefully we have something for next spring, but very excited about it and continuing to work on it. So again, hopefully we have something next spring to take place of cherry blossom. Second, sidewalks that are all chipped away, is the city responsible for it or the homeowner? So actually the homeowner is responsible for the sidewalks and their drive apron, if that's concrete or asphalt. So they are responsible for it. We do have a sidewalk replacement program, and you can contact my office at 330-848-6719 or email me at mayor@cityofbarberton.com for more information. And so this is a program where the city and the homeowner split the cost of the sidewalk. We have an ongoing program every year, so if you don't get on the list this year, we'll put you on automatically next year. So please contact my office for more information. Question also is, when the city is street sweeping, can we put out notices? We do put this in on our website, on social media. It's the same schedule every year. So I believe it's on the water bill as well, but I'll have to confirm that and find a date when it was on the water bill. But please call my office or check our website or social media accounts as we do update that with the street sweeping schedule. Next question is concerning road resurfacing. Worcester Road West from 31st Street to 6th Street, around 6th Street, is pretty bad. We actually went out 5 or 6 years ago and received federal funding to reconstruct Worcester Road from 31st Street down to around 4th Street. So it's taken about 5 or 6 years for the money to actually come in. So this was awarded 5 or 6 years ago. The money is coming in now. So you may have seen some work being done. They've been engineering the reconstruction of the road, and they've been televising the sewers and cleaning them out and making sure that all the underground utilities are functioning the way they need to be before the construction starts. So this is a very intense project. This starts around 4th Street downtown near Subway and goes all the way to Hudson Run. Over there by Durbin's Magic Freeze. It'll be a total reconstruction, so it's going to be full depth paving, it's going to be new curbs, new sidewalks, new storm inlets, so it's going to be a very intense, large scale project, a total reconstruction. So there'll be detours, and that project will kick off later this year. Technically it's already started with a lot of the work they're doing underground and checking the utilities, but the real kind of construction phase will start later this year. And depending on the severity of the winter, we'll go through the winter time, or it may have to be shut down and start again in the spring. So all that's kind of left up to Mother Nature, that portion of it. From Hudson Run to 31st Street, that section will be resurfaced, not reconstructed, but resurfaced. Both projects, like I said, we received federal funding for it, so the federal government we applied for and we're lucky enough to be awarded. The federal government will pay about 80% of the cost. So this is about a mile in stretch of roadway that's either going to be totally reconstructed or resurfaced, and leveraging your tax dollars for about 80% of the cost coming from the federal government. And again, that project will really kick off later this year. Next question, traffic lights downtown. The question talks about certain areas downtown where there are no traffic lights, where once there used to be, traffic light has been replaced by a stop sign, and wondering if more traffic lights can be removed and replaced with a stop sign. We are looking at this, and if you're from Barberton like I am, you know that there's many intersections where traffic lights used to be, where there aren't any right now. So we're looking at this, how do we continue to have traffic flow in a safe manner, and provide the same type of safety and assistance for traffic flow pattern downtown with traffic light devices, and can we replace those with stop signs? So we're going through that exercise right now. I'm not sure if we'll have any answers in the coming weeks, but we're still looking at that to see what the data shows, and then we'll make the best determination and answer at that time. Next question talks about Conrad Street and Conrad Park. It's a very interesting and somewhat complex area. The street kind of stops the pavement and goes into more of a gravel cinder makeup of the roadway. It's not clear on if that road continues or if it's and was never improved, or if the road actually ends and that turns into a private drive. So we're still looking at that. It's not clear if there's an easement there. We're doing some more research, and I will be back in touch with you once we get a clear, defined answer on that. What is the total amount of street grant money that the city will receive this year? So, as I mentioned with the Worcester Road West reconstruction project, there are several projects throughout town that we applied for federal money 5 or 6 years ago. We were awarded the money 5 or 6 years ago, and it's just now coming due this year. If you've been downtown, you see that 4th Street was recently resurfaced, and this stretches from Barber Road to the dead end at Lake Anna. That was one of the projects, in addition, that federal funds were applied for and used, about 80%. So between our funds, the federal funds that are coming in excess of $21 million will be spent on our streets starting this year. As like I mentioned with Worcester Road West, some of the projects will start this year, carry over into next year. But in excess of $21 million will be spent starting this year on our roads, and that includes our funds, city funds, and federal funds. So we're continuing to work on these and look for future grant funds. We know that the federal process takes many, many years, and the application process is not open yet. Once that process is open, we're going to make application to redo more streets in the coming years. Infrastructure and streets are a vital part of what we do here in the city. It's an economic developer and a driver for economic development. Also, enhances the neighborhood and is something that we need to do and continue doing. So very excited about this year's project, but more to come in the future here. Next question is talking about the parking lot where the farmer's market is. Is there any plans to resurface this? So this parking lot is known as Block 7. And if you're from Barberton, you know that back in the late 70s, early 80s, there were a bunch of buildings there. There was a fire, the buildings were demolished, and a parking lot was put in. And the parking lot was only supposed to be temporary. There was going to be more buildings built for economic development, and that really never happened, as you can tell. So we do have plans to resurface that lot. We want to resurface it, we want to restripe it, we want to put in more parking spots, and we want to make it more user-friendly and usable for events like the farmers market and other events. So yes, there are plans, and so we continue to work on that. We want to make sure, because there was a city alley that ran through there, we want to make sure that all the utilities underground are functioning as they need to be before we put money into resurfacing the lot. So making sure that everything underground is taken care of is important and kind of the first step before we resurface the street. Next question, are there any plans to sell the land where the schools were? This includes Memorial School and Oakdale and a few others. A lot of land here, so this person writes or in their question, they imagine that there are some real estate people that would snap them up for development if it was ever for sale. So these lots are owned by the schools. It's really up to the schools to sell them. I'm not sure if they've had any interest from developers. I'm not sure where they sit with selling those lots, but that is owned by the schools and really up to the schools and the school board to sell those lands. Last question is the Trushan Farm project appears to be underway. Any plans to build another water tower in the area to maintain supply and water pressure? Really no plans right now to build a secondary water tower in that area. Based on all the studies that we've done and the data we've collected, we feel that there is enough water in the area and pressure to get water to these housing units. But we continue to look at this, and if a change has to happen, then we will make that change. But the Trucian Farm is a housing development that is moving forward, and we're very excited about that and adding more residents to the community. Those are all the questions we have today. Please send in your questions so we can continue this. I do want to mention that when we're resurfacing roads, I did receive some questions on like 4th Street downtown and some other roads that will be resurfaced. What's the process? So the process really is to grind the street down, fix the sidewalks and curbs and ADA ramps, fix any soft spots underneath after they grind the street down, put in a base coat, so it's more of a thick kind of absorbent base coat of asphalt, and then they come back and they put a top coat on. 4th Street is almost complete. They put the top coat on. Looks very nice. They have to come back and put the crosswalks in. So they'll put the crosswalks on, and then also make sure that the pavement matches the storm inlets, make sure it matches the sewer lids and the grates and the different water shutoff valves and the different things that are in the street, taking care of the utilities under the street. So just because you've seen the base coat or you see that the top coat is put on and some of the lines have been sprayed, doesn't necessarily mean that the project is over. So that's why there still could be workers ahead or drive slower or signage and things like that. So I want to make that clear that even though the project may appear to be completed, it still may not be, and that's why the signs and cones and barrels are still up. So again, get back to us with some questions, and we will be here in a few days with more questions to answer. Thank you.